Penguin Readers is a series of simple novels originally designed for teaching English as a foreign language, and to encourage students of reading this language. The series includes original stories, contemporary titles based on today's best-selling media hits, and easily accessible versions of the literary classics published by Penguin around the world. Each book has an introduction and extensive activity material. The series editors are Andy Hopkins and Jocelyn Potter. This new edition is upper intermediate, 2,300 words, contemporary and written in British English, published and distributed by Pearson Education Limited. The title of this book is Web. This adaptation was first published in 1991. It has 55 pages organized in 9 chapters with many pictures, and some activities at the end. The original book came first in April 1979, 10 years after author's death. This book is a science fiction novel, more specifically a posthumously novel, with more or less 150 pages. The author of the book is John Wyndham, pseudonym of John Wyndham Parks Lucas Beynon. He was born the 10th of July of 1903, Birmingham, Warwickshire, England. He was the son of a barrister, Lucan Beynon Harris, and Gertrude Parkes, the daughter of a Birmingham ironmaster. He was educated in Derbyshire, where he left school at 18 years old and tried several jobs, from farming to advertising. Then he started writing short stories for publication, writing under various pen names, and then he turned into a known writer. The most famous ones are under the pen name John Wyndham, but he also used other combinations of his names, such as John Beynon and Lucas Parkes. When he was 8 years old, his parents separated. John's father lost custody control, and a few years later her mother left Birmingham. He and his younger brother, the writer Vivian Beynon Harris, spent their childhood at a number of English preparatory and public schools. He met his wife Grace Wilson at the Pen Club, and after 20 years of relationship, they finally get married. He died in 1969 at his home by the age of 65. During the mid-1920th century, he wrote short stories for various American pulp magazines, and in 1935 the novels The Secret People and Planet Plane, later retitled Stowaway to Mars, were published under the pseudonym of John Beynon. In 1951, The Day of Triffids, the first novel written under the pseudonym of John Wyndham, was released. This book depiction of lethal mobile plants that menace the human race quickly established Wyndham as a science fiction writer. Wyndham's other works includes The Kraken Wakes, 1953, The Chrysalids, 1955, The Midwich Quokos, 1957, filmed as The Village of Dan, 1960, and The Trouble with Lichen, 1960. His short stories are collected in Consider Her Ways, 1961, and The Seeds of Time, 1969. The story takes place in Tenekawa, a small island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, with nobody living on it. In the book, the Mended Island is described as a line of curving white beach in front of thick greenery and trees. This beautiful and green island is available to a private buyer. In a very summary way, the novel tells the story of 40 people that go to a remote island in order to create an utopian society, but soon start to happen strange things, and it seems that something is with them in the jungle. The novel tells the tale of a disastrous and fatal attempt to build an utopia colony on a small and remote Pacific island named Tenekawa. The narrator is Arnold Delgrange, a poor man tired of life, that has joined to the project of the utopia as a way to overcome his grief after the death of his wife and daughter in a car accident. The story is told in hindsight, as Arnold reflects on the events that happened in the island and his fate as the only survivors amongst many men, women, and children. He and the other main character, Camilla Cogent, a pedagogist that keeps everything to herself and has a cynical view of the entire endeavor, are two colonists feeling from their past. Months before a ship arrives, her knowledge of arthropods will be the only thing protecting the group from a deadly and implacable foe, spiders. In the book, the island seems to be full of venomous spiders that makes the project a deadly threat. The spiders of the novel are quite an effective menace. Not all of them are venomous, but they work together to capture prey and attack any threats. That is why the book is called Web. Wyndham seems to have been inspired by social spiders that exist in nature. There are a number of species that have developed the ability to share webs, and even some division of labor. Social spiders can cooperate to take down birds and bats, and also humans, like in the novel. The dream of the English millionaire Lord F ends with several members of the group dead because of the spiders of the island, and as such as a relief, at the end a ship arrives. The book is divided in 9 chapters, and the story is told hindsight by the main character, Arnold the Grange. Web is a short but elegant little horror novel with its share of interesting ideas. There is not a lot of character evolution over the course of the book, and the story progresses in a relatively straightforward way. There is one significant twist that takes the story along a rather unexpected path. The main aspect of the novel is the idea of creating an utopia colony set away from the laws and the rules of conventional nations, where great minds can build new ideas and technologies to lead the world in the future.